Everyone, this is Gayle, and I'm here today to help show you how to make an embroidered rose card. Now, this again is a card that was on our blog, and I had a special request. Somebody wanted to see how to make this card, so pardon me that the card is just like one on our blog, but like I said, this is a special request. So I want to welcome you to my Fun Stampers Journey Coach number 1036. I've had a busy morning today. I have welcomed a new team member, and I've also gotten a good order from a good customer, and I was ready to go for my live, and when I went to use my phone, it had turned off, and then when I turned it on, it started updating all of these different apps or optimizing the apps. So evidently I must have hit the off button when I was putting it in my holder. But I'm going to get started, and I am making, just a disclaimer, I am making a few substitutions from the one that was in our blog. But you know, with Fun Stampers Journey, their colors go together so well, it's easy to do that. So let's get started, and I'm going to cover up my phone. I will tell you that once I flip my phone, I will not be able to see any comments or questions, so I apologize for that. But we will see that, I will see that when I get back. So let me cover my phone. And I'm going to flip it. Sorry, I flipped it the wrong way. There we go. Hopefully this will work. Let me get my workspace in there a little bit better. There. All right, so let's get started here. I am going to start out with a piece of buttercream cardstock, and it is an 8.5 by 11 sheet that has been cut in half. And I'm going to fold it and score it with my handy dandy score tool. I love this. It just glides across the paper like butter. So that's going to be our card base, and that I'm going to put aside. Then I'm going to need a piece of whipped cream that is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this is going to be our panel for the front. Then I need 3 pieces, and I'm using rich coral cardstock, and this is cut to 4 by 1 1/2. Bubble gum, which is cut 4 to 1 1/2. And then another piece of buttercream that is 4 to 1 1/2. And the blog post that showed this card used banana cream cardstock, and I didn't have any banana cream. So I chose to do this. And it also used an embossing folder, which I don't have. But I'm going to use a different type of background on these 3 because I absolutely love this method. And I'm going to kind of put these 3 together. They don't have to be too close. And I think my buttered cream is a little bit too big, but I can trim that off later. I'm just going to lay them there, and I'm going to get out my clear pigment ink. And I'm going to be using the Embroidered Rose stamp set, and I've pulled off the rosebud here and then the little bud here, and I'm going to use those 2 to create a background. So I'm going to take my clear pigment ink and I'm going to take, this is the rosebud, and I'm just going to stamp probably should tape this paper down, but it really doesn't matter. It's going to be a background. Let me just turn it a little bit, because I want a little bit of everything on all the pieces of paper. And then I will take the little small bud and fill in any place that I feel like needs it. And that's all I'm going to do there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use two different sets of our pan pastels. This is our confectionery set, which are the lighter colors. And I'm going to use the banana cream color on this buttercream cardstock. And I'm just going to rub over where I stamped with my stamp. And you'll see that it's picking up the design where I stamped with the clear pigment ink. See that? Now on this one, I'm going to use the bubble gum. And all I'm going to do is just tap this off on a paper towel. The color is still going to be there, but it's not going to transfer. And I will do the same with the bubble gum. And putting the same tone on tone makes this a really nice background, because you don't have any bright colors. And then for the rich coral, I'm going to use our Party Pop set. And I try to keep this one from my light colors. I've got another one that I use for my brighter colors. So let me just pick this up here. And I'm just going to rub across this rich coral paper with, this is actually the Candy Apple pan pastel. But I think it does an awesome job. And that is all there is to that. So now we have 3 pieces of paper that are going to be our background. Let me just make sure our pan pastels aren't going to rub off on anything. All right, so now I'm going to pull my whipped cream cardstock back out, and I'm going to take my, here it is, my tape runner, my Easy Glide, and I'm going to start with the center, which is the bubble gum. And just eyeballing it. I could use my grid paper. And let's see, I think I want it to go this way. Just try to put it in, close to the middle. Line it up on one side. If you line all 3 of them up on the same side, then if you need to trim later, you can trim on the same side. Makes it easier. And I think I'll put this one here, and I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to try to put it evenly spaced between the top and the bottom, like that. And I'll do the same thing with the buttercream, and evenly space. Well, I must not have gotten my pink very much in the center, but that's okay. I'm going to use my Journey shears. Just turn it over and you can trim the excess here. And there is our background. Would have been better if I had measured where to put the bubble gum, but that's all right. This will still work. All right, so we've got the background done. Now I'm going to put that aside. And now we're going to work on the rest of it. Let me wipe off my stamps. I'll get my stamp cleaner out in a few minutes, but I want to wipe off that clear pigment ink before it gets too sticky. So I will get those washed in a minute. Okay, so next we're going to take a piece of scrap paper. This is some white licorice scrap paper. And I'm going to take from the same embroidered rose, I'm going to take this medium-sized rose and the small stem. And what I'm going to do, let me get things out of the way. I'm going to take the rich coral, and you'll notice that along the bottom of this, there's a little stamen, not stamen, what are those, calyxes or whatever the little green part is called. So let's try to keep that separate, and be careful where you place your rich coral ink. Try to keep it off of that bottom part, but make sure that the rest of it is covered. And then I'm going to get Limeade Splash and do the bottom. And then just stamp. See how pretty that is? Now I've already done some of these, and because it was requiring some die cutting, but I wanted you to see how this stamps. Look at this. You can see in that rose that even though I only used one color of ink on the rose, because of the way the stamp is made, it looks shaded. And I just think that is absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to need 2 of those, and also the little stems, and I have already cut them out. I used the dies for the rose, and I fussy cut the little stems. And then we've also got our new mirror gold paper, and this is just so awesome. I messed up on a piece. Let me see. I'll just put that up underneath the rose. But I've got from the Embroidered Greetings stamp set, I took out the Love You, and there's the Love You. And I'm also going to use the clear embossing ink on this, pigment ink. And I'm going to stamp right on this gold. I'm going to put it down towards the bottom and to the right a little bit. Then I'm going to use gold embossing powder. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm sorry. I wanted to do this on white paper. Well, I'll tell you what, since I will use white embossing powder. Sorry, I did this wrong. I should have stamped this on the white paper and cut it out, and I did it wrong. So instead, I'm just going to put the white embossing powder on here. It's funny, I can do this a million times by myself, but let me be on camera. I just want to make sure there's no embossing powder in places that I don't want it. Plus, I just dumped my embossing powder. So let me get some of that up before I make a real mess. Sorry I'm fumbling, but this, this is the first project I've done live. And I have to say I am a little nervous. I have a little brush that I use for my embossing powders. And I will put the rest in my little tray. Sorry for the delay. Like I say, when this is real time, you get to see the real me. I can sometimes make a mess. And I will get this up later, but I will put the cap on my embossing powder. I'm going to put that aside. Bring this back out. And using my heat gun, I'm going to emboss this. So that's done. I'm going to let this cool for a minute. Going to wipe off the clear embossing ink, clear pigment ink. I don't know why I keep wanting to say embossing, although I did emboss that time. Okay, well, I think we're about ready to put our card together. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get our card base out. And I'm going to get this out. And I'm going to take some Journey twine with the gold, because we used our gold. And I'm going to cut, I'm not going to wrap this time. I'm going to just come around the back. And I'm going to take my Easy Glide. Find the center, right about there. And I'm just going to wrap this around once. Just cut this little bit off. I'm going to do the same thing on the top, on the yellow one. So just put a little string of tape. This is our gold twine, which is sort of a natural color with the gold accent in it. And on this one, I'm still going to put the Easy Glide on here, the glue, but only to hold this in place, so it will stay in place while I work. Okay. Then I'm going to take our roses. Well, actually, I'm going to tie this first. Let me tie this. Go ahead and trim it, because I'm not going to need all of this. I'll just tie this first in a little knot over here on the left-hand side. Get it back to where it should be. I didn't have it pulled over enough. And I'm just going to tie, actually I'm going to go ahead and tie this into a knot. Just a little square knot. till I place my roses. Then I'm going to use our foam squares to pop up the roses. So I'm going to use the medium ones on the rose. And I'm going to put this one on the bottom, because if you can see this one did pretty well. This one has got a space between the ink, so I'm just going to put that one kind of on the bottom. And you can see I practiced before I went live, so there's a stamp on the back of this. And I'm going to put this rose right about here. I'm going to do the same thing with the other rose. Move that down a little bit. As long as it hadn't sat there very long, you can remove it, but once it gets set, it's very hard to remove these things. And I'm going to pop this up over top of that one. Then I've got the little stems, and you see they're pretty skinny. So I normally would take, and I think I still will, I'm going to take the small foam squares and trim them. And what I do is I just take my little detail scissors and get rid of these paper backings. Just take my detail scissors and trim a few. Cut them in half. You can even cut them in quarters if you need them that small. And then pull off the half, and you can put it on your stem where you need it. I'm going to put one on the top and one on the bottom, and the top is going to go up underneath the roses. And then just kind of stick this where it needs to be. Like that looks like it would be where that stem would go. And the other one, I'm going to cross over a little bit so that it looks like they're being pulled together as a corsage. I don't know about you, but I end up getting these little backings all over the place. I'm going to put that like that. Maybe tuck that on. No, I'll leave it on top of the string. Now I'm going to tie a bow. Just tie a simple bow and get it the way you want it. Then we're going to take the love, and I probably should have put this on before I put the roses. This is the first time I've done this card. Well, these are out. I'll just use these. I'll see if I can't get it up underneath that rose. Actually, before I do this, you know me, I've got to add some silks to this. I'm going to use some gold. I love, love, love our silks. If you've never tried them, you need to. I'm going to put some gold silk on here. Just little gold spatters. Just to add a little bit of interest. And then, of course, we got to finish with our sparkle silk. I don't know what we ever did before sparkle silk. This is colorless, but it just adds a little bit of sparkle. And I just feel like these roses are so elegant, they need that little bit of sparkle. There. Just getting my stem where it needs to be. And because I didn't want to put it on when I had this. So let me just tuck this under. Just like that, where it says love you. And then again, I will pop it up. I'll use the big foam, the medium foam squares. I've got an order coming in soon, and it looks like I'm going to need them because I am using them like crazy. And there you have it. Just put this on, and I usually do better coming from the folded end. As far as lining them up, it's just easier for me. You line it up however is the easiest for you. But there's our finished card. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's a little bit different from what was on our blog, but I think it's beautiful. And I hope you do too. So let me switch my phone back. Whoops. There I am. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I'm sorry I was a little fumbly. Like I said, this is the first live tutorial I've done. I've done some live videos, but it's usually just talking face to face. So this was the first time I've done a project. But let me show you the card again. Got the shiny gold from the mirror paper. The roses are a pretty background. But I hope you like that. So I'll be doing this on occasion. I don't know how often. I haven't gotten a good schedule yet, but I hope you will join me again the next time with another Fun Stamper's Journey project. So in the meantime, have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.